Welcome back to the Model Way podcast. I'm your host, Lenny Wheeler, and today we're pulling back the curtain on something most people never talk about, the dark side of the modeling industry. Now, don't get me wrong. I love this business. It's creative, it's powerful, and it can open incredible doors, guys. But if you're just starting out, or even if you've been in the game for a while, there are real risks that can derail your career or even put you in dangerous situations. And here's the truth. Nobody warns you about this stuff. Agencies gloss over it. Influencers never mention it. And by the time you find out, it can be too late. So today, I'm giving you the real talk, the traps, the scams, the shady practices, and most importantly, how you can protect yourself. If you're serious about your modeling career and want to stay safe while building a brand you're proud of, stick with me until the end. Now let's dive in. But before we do dive in, please like and subscribe to our channel today. We are up on Apple Podcasts right now, guys. We are we're in the top 5. And thanks to you, because you're the ones that are actually believing in what we're doing. You're believing in the movement. You're believing that you can do this thing, right? You're sharing it. You're liking it. You're commenting on it. This is great, guys. It's amazing. We got a lot of people following us on Apple, guys, and Spotify both. And I encourage you to hit that like button or that subscription button right now so you can be updated on all the content that comes through just for your benefit, guys.
I know it's been too long to just pick up the phone, but I can't help but feeling so lonely. Yeah. On a Friday night. Yeah. So things move on just like they did before. But sometimes I still miss the touch of your hands. Oh, 'cause I can't get you out of my head. Yeah, you're on my mind. Yeah, you're on my mind tonight.
Okay, now let's get started on this thing. Okay, so basically, guys, I'm thinking about this thing a lot. And basically, I talk about what's the number one reason new models quit, within their first year. And it's not because they aren't talented or beautiful. It's because they get burned, right? They get scammed, they feel unsafe, and they lose trust in the industry. But guess what? It doesn't have to happen to you, okay? Now, let's talk about one of the problems here, because really the ugly truth, there's kind of big 3 things, traps that I talk about. I want to first of all talk about fake agencies. Sometimes they're going to prey on your dreams. They promise you representation for a huge upfront fee, and they guarantee bookings if you just pay for this training. Okay. Legit agencies, they don't charge like massive upfront fees. Okay. Period, guys. And so what I mean by that, guys, okay, so some of the agencies out there, they'll have some other agencies and stuff, and they do trainings and stuff like that. But a lot of the trusted, well-known agencies or mother agencies, if we will, and I have a whole episode on that we talk about. These mother agencies, they may have optional classes. They have photography, things that have to get your career started, right? Because you do need to be trained, right? You do need to take classes on acting. You do need to take modeling classes. There's a lot of great schools out there. Nobody is dogging that at all. What I'm talking about are those agencies that take thousands upon thousands of dollars in front just to promise you, because nothing's guaranteed in this business. I don't care what they tell you. If they look at you and tell you, I can promise you to get this gig like this, it doesn't happen like that, guys. It's just too much. Because the reason why I say that, because they're just looking for that money grab, guys. They're looking for that money grab, and it can be a big hindrance. Okay, it's going to upset you. It's going to upset a lot of people around you in your surrounding areas, and you're going to hear all these things about it. I've seen models go to places and they'll pay hundreds upon hundreds of dollars, and they're just not even doing anything. They didn't even get any training. So you have to be careful with that when you're doing that. And I want to kind of warn you guys about that, because that can be a death hole trap. Okay, now I like talking about, the exposure gigs, so you're going to have a lot of photographers out there. This is primarily for the photographers. I call these thing called TFP, or trade for prints, or trade portfolio. Listen, exposure doesn't pay your bills. Some photographers or brands will dangle this idea of free shoots in your exchange for exposure, but end up working for free while they profit. Okay, so let's kind of dive into that just a little bit, because a trade-off there, right, with that. So yes, that does happen a lot, and it can be a trap because some people are doing that to people, especially if you're newer in the game. Well, no, if you're newer in the game, if you're trading off for somebody that's got experience just to build your book or build your brand, it's got to be a mutual understanding about that, right? You just don't just take, you can't take it. Now, if this photographer's got 15, 20 years in the business, 10 years, 5, and he's got experience shooting high fashion models, he's got experience shooting commercial models, he's amazing with beauty, and you're coming in, you're going to need to pay this guy. Why? Because he's got experience, he's got his time invested, he's got the years invested, he's got the behind the camera time alone aside, put the money aside, because he's learned his trade. You're just coming in, you've only been in it for 2 weeks, and then you're wanting a free shoot. That just doesn't happen. And it goes vice versa too. So if you sometimes, so I've seen models that are really experienced and they go in with with amateur type photographers that don't have a lot of experience. Now, the person that should be paying should be the photographer. The photographer should tip this girl some money, you know, just so he can get in front of her lens or his lens. That's what my experience is as a veteran, seasoned photographer shooting for many years. And I've seen that happen too often. Now, one of the other things that I look at with that as well is because when you're dealing with two entities that are actually on an equal path and they're on the equal level, equal playing field. So say both of these people have been doing it for a year, maybe even 2 years, just depends. You're going to have to work that out with that client or that person or that photographer or model and say, hey, look, man, I mean, we got an even trade here, man. I've been doing this X amount of years. You've been doing it X amount of years. Let's get together and let's put these numbers together. Let's run it, right? And so that's what we're looking for. That's me as a photographer. If I'm looking for somebody, a lot of times I don't have to pay unless there's somebody that's way elevated, like it's been shooting for many, many years and they're good. They can pose, they can do all. Then I don't mind paying a little bit of a fee, but for most part, it should be a nice, even trade, right? And so let's dive into that next trap, right? So that third trap, this one is personal for me because I've seen models put themselves in uncomfortable or even dangerous situations. You know, they've got no chaperone, they got no contracts, and there's pressure to do things they never agreed to. And the worst part, they think it's normal because nobody tells them, nobody's been checked, you know? And so when you get people that are checked, it puts a different light on them. Now, I've seen models go to photographers and they'll come back crying, right? Because this guy made her do all kinds of stuff. He made her take off her top, right? And said you had to do this to get exposure. If anybody's telling you that, guys, that is wrong, man. You don't, photographers aren't going to do that, right? Like the only time you should be doing that is if you've known that person for years and you've kind of established a relationship and you've dealt with that and you're of age to do it, then yes, it's okay. But that's something you guys got to work out. And you know, if you're going to do it, a lot of times you should have somebody in that studio with you or on that set with you that can keep an eye on things just to keep everybody in check, because you never know who's going to say what or what's going to be said or vice versa. It protects you too, photographers. You need to kind of keep that in mind when you're doing that. And so that could be a massive pitfall for somebody too. So if somebody's asking you to take off your clothes up front like that, and you're in the studio like that, there need to be some red flags raised. For one, you should have had a chaperone there. Now, some photographers don't like chaperones because sometimes a chaperone, aka a boyfriend or a girlfriend, can get in the way, because it keeps them uncomfortable. It doesn't keep them relaxed. You know, sometimes like me, like when I'm shooting, if somebody comes in with another partner and then they need somebody to come on the shoot, sometimes that person, I use them as help, and they can hold a reflector. They can help move a light. They can do this, they can do that. They can move a light stand or whatever the case might be. But you should definitely probably try to have somebody there, especially if it's maybe your first time shooting. And sometimes they can sit off the side right there and just keep out of the eye peripherals of the model so it doesn't make them comfortable, just as long as they're there. And it shouldn't make you that uncomfortable, Mr. Photographer. Just go ahead and deal with it. Now, if you got any other points you want to put on there with concerning that, please write them down there on the bottom of the description, because I love to hear them, because I think this is a safe place. It's transparent, and I want you guys to hear everything that I'm talking about, right? Okay, so now let's talk about how to protect yourself and still crush it in this industry, right? You need to be doing your homework. Research every agency, Google them, check reviews, look for legitimate client work, not just flashy Instagram posts. If an agency promises big things with no proof, that's a big red flag to me. Okay. If they're out there and they're just actually just talking big game and big numbers and all this stuff, but they have no social proof, they've got no following, they've got no, kind of any networking that goes on. And you'll see it if they've got reviews out there, right? Like a lot of people will get, and Google is pretty good about keeping up with reviews for agencies and things like that, even photographers. And so you want to check those things, If you've had friends that have talked to other people, or they've worked with other people and they had good experiences, they're going to tell you, and vice versa, right? Okay, so you should really know what you're worth. You should bring that value to every shoot. Exposure doesn't pay rent, doesn't buy groceries, and it doesn't build your brand the way people think it does. If you're doing a trade, like we're going back to the trades, you make sure it's something you need, like updating your portfolio or working with a well-respected creative team. You do that a lot in this industry, okay? Safety is first. Always have a contract, always know the deliverables and boundaries before you step on set. And if something feels off, trust your gut, man. You have to walk away from any situation that makes you uncomfortable. Okay, so I want to give you a bonus tip. Build a support network of other models, photographers that you trust, mentors. When you have these people to check with, you're less likely to get caught in a bad situation. There's a lot of resources out there that can make your job and life a lot easier when you're actually looking for somebody to shoot with, or you're actually looking to somebody to be a creative with. And check those resources, guys. It's really, really a big thing, right? I'm going to ask you to guys hit that like and subscribe button today. Like I said, we are in the top 5 on Apple Podcasts, thanks to you. Okay. I want you to go down there and click that subscribe button. I want you to go onto our website, www.modelwaypodcast.com, to get all the tips, insights, and insights. You subscribe to our newsletter so we can get that out to you, so you can be informed of upcoming shows and things like that. Man, I'm going to have some really special guests coming on, guys, because I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. We're going to have Manhattan Beachwear on the show here coming up soon. We're going to be doing some stuff with them when interviewing the CEO of. We're going to be interviewing the CEO of Manhattan Beachwear, guys. That's huge. I've got some other people coming. I got one of my writers coming in from Forbes. I can't wait to see her on here. We're going to have fun. We're going to talk. We're going to chop it up a little bit, kind of give you those insights about Fashion Week. We'll talk about trends and what things are changing, what things have come from, and what things are coming back into the industry again. I think it's important because you need to be informed about this stuff, right? Okay, so when you take these steps, like I was just talking about, you shift from feeling vulnerable, you're going to feel in control. You're not just another model, okay? You're not getting booked. You're a professional. You knows the business. You know how to value and knows how to protect yourself. I've worked with hundreds of models, hundreds. And the ones who thrive are the ones who take ownership. They don't just rely on the agencies. They understand the game. And what I want for you, that's exactly what I want for you. So, guys, if this episode opened your eyes, share it with another model that needs to hear it. And listen, if you're ready to take the next step and learn how to build your portfolio, walk in confidence, and land real opportunities without wasting years on costly steps, join the Model Way Academy, guys. I'm going to have some online courses that you're going to be able to pre-register for. That course is going to be coming out here in about 6 to 7 weeks. I want you to go in there and go ahead and hit the subscription button on it and go ahead and do your pre-orders on there. Okay. We'd love to have you on there. I should have a link on our website that you can click on, and you can actually go ahead and register so that course comes to you. We're giving it a massive discount price for the first 30 people. Okay. So I want you to grab it, take advantage of it, take advantage of the pricing. It's just going to be amazing. Okay. So basically with that course, I've created a step-by-step course that gives you everything I wish I had when I was starting as a photographer. Even click the link description and get started today, guys. Until next time, stay safe, stay focused, and keep walking the model way. My name is Lenny Wheeler, and this has been the Model Way. And until next time,